Series 131 is up next for you here in our historical matchup world, where we've continually picked teams from baseball history randomly that go up against each other. And we have another matchup for you, a fresh one. It is teams from, again, completely different eras. We got another dead ball era team against a team from the 80s. So let's quickly introduce our ball clubs before we hit the field. And we're going to start with the 1904 Detroit Tigers, who were 62-90 under two managers, towards the bottom there of the American League in 7th place. And this was one season before a Georgia Peach came aboard named Ty Cobb. So we won't see Cobb in this series. This is the team just before he joined them in the 05 season. And maybe that's why their record was so poor. They didn't have the dynamics of Mr. Cobb, but looking at the lineup, you'll notice here, at least Sam Crawford, a Hall of Famer here who hit 254. He was 24 years old, was able to get a number of extra base hits, 20 steals, but still, Crawford wasn't in his best days yet. I think Cobb did a lot to spur him on. So the hitting, definitely an issue here. Nobody really over even 270. Jimmy Barrett there at 268 with 31 RBIs. Crawford led the team on with 73 ribbies. You got Charlie Carr and Bobby Lowe with 40 RBIs each, but very low averages. Bob Wood in the 240s as well. Couple 253 hitters here. Matty McIntyre, not very strong either, with only 46 RBIs. And of course, the power of the day wasn't there, but the big glaring thing about this team was they couldn't get on base or hit for average, and someone like Cobb was perfect to spur them on and change all that, but this team didn't have that, and that was their issue because the pitching for Detroit, which would stay good for a number of years after this season, was actually quite good. George Mullen and Ed Killian leading the charge here. Mullen unfortunately lost 23 games, but did manage to take 17 wins with a 2.40 ERA in his almost 400 innings of work. Walked 131 men, struck 161 out. Quite good. Completed just about every game he started. Ed Killian also lost 20 games, but he was very good with a 244. Bill Donovan, a 246. A few less innings for him. Frank Kitson and Jesse Stovall, the other guys on the roster. And as you can see here, looking for more of the bullpen help, you won't find it. Only 8 pitchers on the roster. With the starters completely dominating the innings. Not much of an idea of relief pitching in the day of the Tigers team that we're looking at. But even for their day, the Tigers were not very strong. And that's the interesting thing with these dead ball era teams. When they go up against other teams, their lack of pitching depth. But in a 7-game series, maybe not the end of the world for them. So either their starters have it or they don't on a given day. And that determines a lot how their day or their series will go. Their opponents, hitting the 1980s, actually 1981. We're going to go to Kansas City and look at the Royals. It was a strike-shortened season. You might remember a first half and a second half season. Overall, the Royals finished 50-53. They were able to make it to the postseason, lost to the Athletics in 3 games in the ALDS. That one year they had it because of the split half-and-half seasons, a unique thing in baseball history in 1981. The Royals making the transition from their dominant 70 teams to their good 80 teams. Looking at some of the players, of course, 28-year-old George Brett at 314. Brett, one of the best third basemen to ever play. We have Willie Wilson, who had a 335 on base, stole 34 bases. You can see here Hal McRae is contributing. He had 330 and a 396 slugging. Frank White, 250, was able to get 91 hits. Willie Aikens with a good year, 17 home runs. He led the team in the strikes shortened year, was able to slug 458. And UL Washington, not a bad shortstop either, although the average quite low for him. Amos Otis at 269 with 57 RBIs, not a bad total for that short season. So Brett, Wilson, Otis, Darryl Motley also here, but Hal McRae is the designated hitter. Made the Royals Not a terrible team. Something definitely to keep an eye on if you're a starting pitcher. Um, and as the years would go on, they would actually lead up to a championship in 1985. The pitching, really two good arms, and then it gets pretty weak for them as far as starters go. Dennis Leonard, 13 and 11, nice ERA of 2.99. He had 2 shutouts in 200 innings. He only struck out 107 in those innings, so really not a strikeout pitcher, but hard to score. It's hard to get solid contact on Leonard. Larry Gura, 272, quite good as well. 11 and 8 for the shortened year. He also was not a strikeout pitcher. Had 2 shutouts of his own. Then it gets pretty rough for the Royals. Rich Gale, Paul Splittorff, who's 34 years old already here, not at his best, was 5 and 5, and Mike Jones got a few starts as well and did not fare so well, although his ERA pretty good. He was only 21 at the time. The closer is, however, very, very good. Dan Quisenberry, 18 saves, 1.73 ERA with his sidearm delivery. He was very, very good during this era and one of the best closers the Royals have ever seen. Quiz was very good. He here struck out 20 only in 62 innings of work. So again, strikeouts not the name of the game of the era. We're looking at Atlee Hammaker also down here, Rene Martin, some of the other names. But the hitting and the pitching was just average, and that's really where their record ended up being close to average. Not a spectacular team, but we already looked at the Tigers, who also struggled, and the Tigers hitting especially as weak as you can really get. So the Royals will fancy their chances going up against the draw they got with these deadball era Tigers. Best of 7 series as always. First 2 games at Royal Stadium on the hard surface. Then we're going to head out to Detroit for the middle 3 games, and then back again if we go that far to game 6 and 7. Firing up game number 1, you're looking at George Mullen and Dennis Leonard. Actually a very good pitching matchup. Both teams have good aces here. We already mentioned how Mullen pitched close to 400 innings. So we'll see if he goes the distance in this one, or will the tactics change for the Tigers in the short series. So ready to get going. It is the 1904 Detroit Tigers against the 81 Kansas City Royals. We're ready for the first pitch and heading out to Royal Stadium for Game 1 to see how this best of 7 is going to play out from 2 teams from very, very different eras. Let's head out for the action. So game 1 at Royal Stadium, and you can see here, we're already in the 7th inning. We got an outstanding pitching matchup. Dennis Leonard pitching a whale of a ball game here. And it is now Bill Coughlin coming up here in the 7th with a man on first, 1 out. And this one is lined to right field, and that one's going to be caught on a fly out there. So 2 outs now. Leonard delivers. This ball's hit deep to left, way back there. Looking up, this ball is gone. O'Leary breaks the scoreless ball game with a 2-run home run deep to left. And just like that, the Tigers unexpectedly take this lead 2-0, and George Mullen now has the lead. He's been pitching brilliantly all game long. An unexpected home run. Here's Hal McRae now to lead off the 7th, with the 1 out up in the 7th. And this is hit into the hole for a base hit by McRae. UL Washington now the hitter. Washington's going to line a single to center, so that's going to get down. First and second now as Mullen runs into a rare jam. He's been so efficient all game long. But he's got to be careful here with a 2-run lead. Frank White up there. White is going to hit this one to center field, but that one is shallow. Catch will be made there. Barrett measures it. So 2 outs now for Clint Hurdle. Hurdle hits this one to short. Play will be made the short way there to second. O'Leary with the play, and that'll do it. Detroit will hold this lead into the 8th inning. Lou Drill, the hitter. Rene Martin now pitching, and this ball's hit deep to center. Way back there, that's off the wall. Drill with a double here with 2 outs in the 8th inning as the Tigers see the opportunity. They want to try to build on the lead. They cannot. We've moved to the top of the 9th now, still 2-0. McIntyre at the plate against Martin. McIntyre lifts this one deep to right. That's going to get down. McIntyre's turning around second. He's going to make it to third with a triple. A leadoff triple by McIntyre, and that's going to set the stage here for the Tigers to try to take this lead, which they tag 2 on to the scoreboard. It's 4-0 now, and Mullins still in the game. As expected, the Tiger starters are going to go deep, if not all, the game without much bullpen depth. Not much is needed on this game. It's a shutout up to now. 2 outs here. UL Washington, the hitter, a man on. Washington hits it in front of the plate. Throw from the catcher. That's going to do it. A shutout. 4-hit shutout by George Mullen. The perfect start for the Detroit Tigers. They come in and play small ball the right way. This game was scoreless all the way to the 7th inning. I should say small ball included a home run, though, as O'Leary Charlie O'Leary smacked the 2-run home run in the 7th off of Dennis Leonard, and it was all George Mullen from there, only striking out 2, but pitched very well. Only walked 2, allowed 4 hits, and no earned runs. McIntyre 2 for 4 with a triple and 2 runs scored, 2 more runs tacked on in the 9th, and Detroit takes game 1 in emphatic fashion. George Mullen, the hero, and puts the Tigers into control of the series early, up 1-0. And now moving to game 2, things get serious for the Royals. Larry Gura is going to take the mound against Ed Killian. And again, the first top 2 Tiger pitchers are very good, Mullen and Killian, so it's not all going to be easy pickings here for the Royals. They're going to have to find a way to, first of all, score some runs and find a way to tie this series up if they can here. Very important game 2 at home before we head to Detroit. So let's see what happens now. Game 2, Ed Killian and Larry Gura, the men on the spot. Let's see how it plays out from Royal Stadium. Game 2 just ahead. So Charlie Hickman up here in the top of the 2nd against Larry Gura. And this one's shot on the right field line. It's a fair ball. So Hickman's going to have a double here in the 2nd inning. The Tigers have a runner in scoring position here to lead off the inning. UL Washington up there. Washington will hit this one to the mound. No play will be made there as we move now to the bottom of the 2nd, and the Royals have the bases loaded here with only 1 out. Ed Killian on the mound facing John Wathan, the catcher now. Wathan looks at strike 3, so he keeps the bat on the shoulder, and that's a big strikeout. And Clint Hurdle now with a chance and 2 outs. Killian will deliver. This one's hit the center field, but that ball's going to be caught. Hit right to Barrett, and our game remains scoreless. We'll move to the 5th inning. Amos Otis up there with a speedy Willie Wilson on first base. This is lifted in the right center. That's going to get down there. Wilson's on his horse. He moves to 3rd. He's going to round, and the throw goes to 3rd, but Wilson will score with 2 outs. A triple by Otis, and it is 1-0 Royals. They get out in front here in this tight ball game. 7th inning now. Sam Crawford facing Larry Gura, who's pitching a wonderful game. But Crawford will rip a single here to right field. Leadoff hit in the 7th inning. Lou Drill now the hitter. Drill's going to bunt it. Before he gets off the mound, he'll make the play at first. Crawford puts on the brakes at second base. He represents the tying run. Here's McIntyre. This is grounded to third. Play's going to be made there by Brett. It is in time. They'll hold the runner at second base, and with 2 outs, Coughlin now has a chance. This is lined to center field, a base hit. Let's see if they send the runner. They will. Throw to the plate from center is going to be late. 1-1. The Tigers tie the game on the RBI single by Coughlin. That drives in Sam Crawford, who showed great jump off the bases there to tie this game. And Jimmy Barrett now the hitter. 1 out. We're in the 8th inning. And Barrett's going to hit one to center field. That one's going to get down, so Barrett's heading to second. He's now on his way to third. A triple for Barrett here with a 1 out in this tie game, and he has a chance to get the Tigers out ahead again. And Brett has come in the pitch, and George Mullen hitting for himself. Something that isn't abnormal in the dead ball era, and he comes through, believe it or not, RBI single to left. The Mullen comes through with a base hit. It's 2-1. And George Brett now the hitter. We're into the bottom of the 8th. Leading the inning off against Bugs Raymond. Raymond delivers, and Brett delivers a base hit to left field. So a leadoff single. We'll bring up Aikens. Aikens with some power, and he lifts this one to left, but the play will be made there. No, it comes up short. I thought the left fielder had a beat on it. He did not. It drops for a hit. So we got runners first and second. 1-run game for Frank White. The Royals trying to rally here late in this ball game. And there's a shot to right field. Brett's going to round third. He's going to hold up. And now the bases are loaded after the White single. And Hal McRae up there with nobody out. A 1-run game. The Tigers in all types of trouble. And this is going to drop into right field. 1 run's going to score. McRae ties the game with an RBI single here in the 8th inning. Still a lot of trouble as Jesse Stovall has come in. UL Washington now the hitter. Nobody out still. This is hit back to second. They go the short way and get the force. Relay to first not in time, but prevent the Royals from taking the lead. That's the first out of the inning. And Wathan now at the plate. Wathan's going to drive this one to right field. That's going to score a run, and Kansas City has taken the lead. Washington advances to second. McRae to third, and scoring is Frank White. It is Wathan with an RBI single. It is 3-2. Willie Wilson now up there with 2 outs, and Wilson's going to ground this one. That's going to be a very tough play. No play to be made. Wilson, an infield hit, scoring another run. The Royals have put up 3 in this inning. They lead now 4-2. And Otis with a chance really to break it open. Infield hit from Wilson. This is driven to center field. Way back there. That's over the center fielder's head. That might clear the bases. Otis with a triple. It is 3 more runs for Kansas City, completely opening up game 2. A 3-run double by Otis. 7-2 our score. We move to the 9th now. Charlie O'Leary up there. And Brett looking to close it out. This is lifted to left field. Nice diving catch out there by Wilson. He ends it in style. And that will do it. Kansas City bounced back with a 6-run 8th inning to take game number 2. And even this series at 1. A nice ball game for the Royals. Had Killian in there. He did his job. They pulled him with only 1 earned run. Maybe pulled him too quickly. Larry Gura pitched pretty good. He went into the 7th. 4 strikeouts. And Willie Wilson, 3 for 4. He had an RBI, 2 runs scored. And that 6th run, 8th inning was really the difference. Brett gets the win, Raymond the loss, and Kansas City picks itself up. After the opening game loss, they come back and win game 2. And now it becomes a best-of-5 series heading to Detroit. For game 3, we're going to see Paul Splittorff against Bill Donovan. The veteran Splittorff gets the chance here. He's in his upper 30s, but confidence is high here that Jim Fry feels he can get the job done. Bill Donovan going to take the shot here to try to put the Tigers back up as they come back home. An exciting couple of games already. Both games decided in the late innings. So game 3 should be interesting. Can the Royals take control, or will the Tigers continue to be the spoiler here as the underdogs and continue to cause the Royals issues? Let's head out to Detroit. It's back to 1904 we go for game number 3. So Bennett Park is where we're at here for game number 3. And we have George Brett up here to start us off with the highlights in the first inning with 2 outs against Bill Donovan. And Brett will hit this one deep to center field right off the top of the wall. Brett's going to hit to third, and he will have a triple here with 2 outs in the first inning. George Brett rips one in the right center, but cannot be plated home by the Royals. We'll move to the second now. Hickman is the hitter, and Hickman's going to hit this one deep to left field. That ball's got some carry over the wall. Home run, Hickman. 1-0 Tigers break out ahead here with the Hickman home run over the left field wall. A good blow, and again, the second home run for the Tigers in this series. Surprising. We're into the third now. Willie Wilson. He'll rip this one to right field. That ball's got some carry, and Wilson is going to tie this game with a solo home run, an unexpected source of power. But it is 1-1 now as Wilson ties this game up. George Mullen now the hitter. Mullen's going to drive this one in the gap with a man on. That's going to go all the way to the wall. The Tigers jump right back up here with a Mullen RBI double, and it is 2-1 now, Detroit. The Tigers definitely have fight in them. We've seen it time and time again in these series. Bad teams stepping up with their opportunities. They have nothing to lose, really. And here's Wathan now for the Royals. This ball's hit back to the mound. Play at second cannot be made. The throw gets away. That's an errant throw. So the Royals got 2 men on for UL Washington and nobody out. And this is going to get into the gap. Gets down there to the wall, and the Royals are going to flip this game once again. Or at least tie it. It is 2-2 on the Washington double with nobody out. Frank White, the hitter. White goes up the middle. There's a base hit. 1 run's coming in, and now the Royals have the lead. An RBI single by Frank White. 3-2 KC. Here's Willie Wilson, who's already homered with 2 outs and 2 on. Wilson's going to line a drive to right. It's going to drop in there, and it's going to plate 2. 2 runs for the Royals. They've opened up here a 5-2 lead in the 4th inning. 6-2 as we move to the 5th. Mullen now at the plate as Splittorff is continuing to throw. This is hit to short. Out there, relay to first. The Royals will get a double play. The 6-4-3 preserves the lead here. We'll move to the bottom of the 6th. Sam Crawford now facing a new pitcher, Jim Wright. This one's popped up deep. Got some carry to it and gone. Crawford with the home run to right field. So it's a 6-3 game. A towering blow by Sam Crawford. 6-4 now our game. We're in the 8th inning. UL Washington, the hitter. Washington will go with the pitch and line it up the middle here with a leadoff hit in the 8th inning. The 12th hit for the Royals. Atlee Hammaker now on the mound for KC against Crawford again, who's already homered. It's the 8th inning. There's a walk, so a leadoff walk here to Sam Crawford in this 2-run game. Lou Drill, the hitter, now facing Ken Brett, who we've seen already in this series. That's lifted to left field. It's going to be routine. Coughlin now coming up. Coughlin will pop this one up. That's going to be caught by the shortstop, so that's out number 2. We'll move to the 9th inning now. Base is loaded for KC. Wathan, the hitter, 2 outs. Wathan goes to short. Play will be made there, but a bad throw. Ball gets past the first baseman. That's going to plate some more runs. A mistake. And McRae's going to cross the plate as well as Brett. It is 8-4 now. We'll move to the 9th inning with Jimmy Barrett up there facing Quisenberry. This is hit into the hole. Nice play there. Relay to first. Double play. That will end game number 3. Kansas City has put 2 wins together. And they win the first game here in Detroit. 8-4 with 12 hits, but 3 errors from the Tigers really hurt their cause. Wilson 2 for 4 with a home run and 3 RBIs. UL Washington 3 for 5. And Paul Splittorff with a decent outing gets the win. Walks 4, allows 2 earned runs. A little sloppy, but the job gets done. Donovan takes the loss. And it is the Royals who are now back in control after losing game 1 dramatically. They now take 2 games in a row. 3 home runs in this one, 2 by the Tigers, 1 by the Royals. And we're going to move now to game number 4, as this series is 2-1 in favor of Kansas City. And game 4 is going to feature Mike Jones against Frank Kitson. Another crucial game. If Kansas City wants to really take command, they're going to want to take this game as well. And if the Tigers hope to continue to surprise and make it a series, they're going to want to bounce back here at home in game number 4. So the excitement continues. Royals, Tigers. Game number 4 coming up. We'll see what happens as we head out to Bennett Park to continue our series. So here we go, bottom of the first inning. Charlie Hickman, the hitter, with men on first and second. This is hit to short. Play will be made there. A double play here for the Royals as a runner moves to third base. Coughlin up again here, bottom of the second, runner on first base. There's a line drive. That's going to be down there in right field into the corner, run around in third. He's going to score, and Detroit will take a 1-0 lead here on the Coughlin double. 1-0 Tigers, with now 3-0 Tigers into the 6th inning. George Brett facing Kitson, and Brett is going to single to left. So with nobody out here in the 6th, the Royals starting a rally. Willie Aikens, the hitter. Aikens goes to second. That's going to be a double play. Runner moves to third. No runs can score, however. We move all the way to the 9th inning with UL Washington up there with 1 out. Raymond on the mound. Washington goes to first, play at second, relay back to first. What a pretty double play by the Tigers to end this game, and it is a shutout, folks. The Detroit Tigers win game number 4, 4-0. Despite allowing 9 hits, they do the job. Fred Kitson, the hero of game number 4. He goes into the 9th, strikes out 7, walks nobody, which made the 9 hits less effective. Jimmy Barrett 3 for 4 with an RBI, and Rabbit Robinson 2 for 3 with 2 runs scored. And just like that, this series is even at 2. You can see here the Tigers bouncing back after the 2 Royal wins to get back and even this series and start surprising people, as they are the clear underdogs, but making it a series and then some. So the series even at 2 games apiece. We got 1 more game left in the Motor City. Dennis Leonard is going to face George Mullen in a big game. The winner's going to go back to Kansas City with the edge, especially the Tigers are going to want to salvage this home game so they can go back with the edge. Either way, they're putting up quite a fight in this series. So heading into game number 5, it is even 2 games apiece. Let's head out to Bennett Park as this series continues, and the action and excitement to see who will get the edge in game 5. So second inning here, the Royals have a rally with Frank White up there. And White's going to hit a single to right field, and that's going to plate the first run here in game number 5. 1-0 Kansas City. They get up here first. And still rallying in the inning, Clint Hurdle, the hitter. Hurdle takes a ball, and he's on board. So bases loaded here for the Royals. George Mullen in a big spot against Dennis Leonard. And there's a strikeout. So the pitcher looks at strike 3 on 3 straight pitches. And now it's up to Willie Wilson to see if he can come through. Wilson's going to fly this one to right. That should be playable. So the Tigers get out of a big jam, only allowing the single run. But right back at it here in the third are the Royals. Bases loaded again. This time nobody out. Joe Wathan at the plate. And this is hit back to the mound. Mullen goes to the plate. Now to first. Not in time, but they get the lead run. So nobody can score on the play. Washington, the hitter. Strike 3. Washington on an off-speed pitch. Looks at it. And Mullen about to get out of another big jam. Frank White now the hitter. White's going to lift this one to left field, but that's going to be caught. And the Royals can't come through with the bases loaded and nobody out. And this remains a 1-0 game. We move to the 4th. George Brett, the hitter. Brett lines one into right field, and that's going to send the runner to third. So runners on the corners here. 2-0 ball game. We've moved to the 6th inning. 2 outs, 1 on for Charlie Hickman. This Leonard pitching a heck of a ball game. This one's hit to third. Brett, a great play from his knees. Throws the first, but not in time. Still a great play by Brett. Preventing the run from scoring. We got runners on the corners for Lou Drill. Drill's going to hit this one to second. Play will be made there. And the out is made by White, so the Brett diving save does prevent a run from scoring. This game remains 2-0. We're now in the 7th inning with Sam Crawford up there. Crawford takes ball 4 to lead off the 7th inning. But Leonard still holding on to this shutout. McIntyre's the hitter. McIntyre goes into the hole. Second baseman makes a play at second. He'll get the lead man for the first out. Coughlin, the hitter for the Tigers. There's a check swing, but it is strike 3. So Leonard continues to pitch well. We're in the 8th inning. Stovall's the hitter against Cesar Geronimo, who's come in to hit. Geronimo's going to single up the middle. It is the 11th Royals hit. Runners on the corners for Aikens. Aikens goes deep. That's going to be a fair ball into the right field corner. That's going to plate 2 runs. 2 huge insurance runs here for the Royals as Aikens comes through with a 2-run double. And it is 4-0 now, Kansas City. We move to the 9th. Runners first and second. Sam Crawford at the plate against the closer, Dan Quisenberry. This one hits hard in the right center. That's going to get off the wall. Crawford extra bases. 1 run comes in to score. Crawford with one of his patented triples. And the Tigers get on the board here in the 9th inning. 4-2 our score. Sam Crawford with a 2-run triple. And McIntyre now the hitter. He represents the tying run in this one. He goes down the line. That's a fair ball. Run's going to score 4-3. So the Tigers ambushing. And Quisenberry here in the 9th inning. Still nobody out. There's the bunt. Play made out at first. But the tying run now is at second base with 1 out. Charlie O'Leary, the hitter. Quisenberry bringing it. Strike 3. Quisenberry gets O'Leary on a big strikeout. And now there's 2 outs. Got him on the changeup. Here's Bob Wood. It's 4-3 the pitch. This is hit to short. Play made there. Out at first. Royals will take this game. They hang on 4-3. Pushing their series lead 3-2. Kansas City will head home with the edge. Dennis Leonard pitched very well, got the win. Quisenberry some trouble in the ninth, but he pulls it through at the end with a tying run on second. Willie Aikens 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs, a run scored, and George Mullen took the loss, walking 6 men in a kind of a wild outing for him. But Leonard came through for the visitors when they needed it. The Royals picked themselves back up here as the favorites, win game number 5, take a 3-2 series lead, and now we move to Royal Stadium, where the Royals will try to close out this series. In Game 6, Ed Killian, who pitched well, gets back on the mound against Larry Gura, who also has pitched well in his one start. 2 very good arms going at it in Game 6. Can the Royals close out the series, or will the Tigers continue to battle? They've battled the entire series. We expect nothing less. Game 6 coming up. Let's see if the series will go 7, or will we end it here? Kansas City, here we come for game number 6. Third inning, Charlie O'Leary at the dish. And O'Leary hits this one back to the mound. Play's going to be at second, turn to first, double play. Gura starts the twin killing. We'll move to the 4th, still scoreless. Sam Crawford up there with a man on second. Crawford lines this one to right. Runner's going to hold the 3rd, so with 2 outs now, the Tigers have runners on the corners for Lou Drill. Drill looks at one on the outside corner, and that was a close call. But Gura gets the call and the strikeout. We'll move to the 5th inning here. Hal McRae in a scoreless game. And McRae hits it deep to left field, to the wall, looking up, home run. Not only the first hit for the Royals, but the first run is a homer. Hal McRae here in the 5th inning with a solo shot. 1-0 Royals. Larry Gura has a lead now here against Jimmy Barrett in the 6th. This is brought back up the middle. Base hit through the hole. Mullen now the hitter. Mullen goes to 3rd. Brett's got it. 1 out, 2 outs. Double play started by George Brett. No hesitation there. We'll move to the bottom of the frame. Brett now at the plate with the man on. And Brett's going to line this one. What a beautiful swing in the right center. 2nd and 3rd here with 1 out for the Royals after the Brett double. Willie Aikens now the hitter. Aikens lines this one past the brought in infield for a single. 2 runs are going to score. Brett beats the throw. 3-0 Kansas City on a 2-run single by Aikens. 8th inning now. We're getting towards the end here. Otis is the hitter. He'll line a single to right field. It is the 7th hit for Kansas City. And we move now to the 9th. Dan Quisenberry up there with 1 out. Looking to close it out against Charlie Hickman. There's a line shot. That is going to get down. A base hit for the Tigers here in the 9th inning. Sam Crawford, the next hitter. He lines a shot into the gap. That's going to get down there. Crawford extra bases. He has a double. So a 1-out rally here by the Tigers. They got men on 2nd and 3rd. Only 1 out, and Lou Drill is the tying run at the plate. Jim Wright has come in to pitch, and he strikes out Drill on a 2-2 pitch. The fastball gets Drill, and there's 2 outs now for Matty McIntyre, who's the last hope of the series. McIntyre strikes out swinging. The Royals celebrate here at Royal Stadium. They take it in 6 games, winning this one, shutting out the Detroit Tigers 3-0, and winning the series mostly due to their outstanding pitching. Larry Gura, the man in the clincher, 7+ innings, 6 strikeouts. Again, the control impeccable. Doesn't walk a single man. Ed Killian takes the loss, although again, he didn't pitch very badly. And Hal McRae opened up the scoring in the 5th inning, 2 for 3 with a home run. Killian actually had a no-hitter at that point. but McRae lined one over the left field wall. And that would be all the Royals would need in this one, winning the game and the series at home, 4-2. They, in fact, get the shutout after themselves. They were shut out twice in this series. You can see in Game 1 and Game 4. But Kansas City wins Game 5 and 6, avoiding any kind of an upset and winning this series. The numbers, again, the bats not very good for the Tigers, ended up costing them. Although George Mullen had a good series and Jimmy Barrett a good one. But again, not much RBI production. Obviously the power not really there. And a number of hitters struggling. Lou Drill especially was up there with a number of situations where men were on base. Rabbit Robinson only had 5 hits, 1 RBI. Charlie O'Leary hit under 100. Matty McIntyre 250. Sam Crawford did well at 364, but not nearly enough. The pitching, Bugs Raymond got hammered in his only loss there. Bill Donovan did not do very well. Ed Killian and George Mullen had good series. And Frank Kitson didn't allow anything in his win and his start. And 8+ innings of work in Game 4. For the Royals, see here, McRae with the 2 RBIs that actually came in the final game. It was a quiet series for him up until that point. Willie Wilson, a nice series. George Brett only hit 240, did not have a good series with 1 RBI for him. Aikens also 4, and the power really wasn't there at all for the Royals. They only hit 2 home runs. But the pitching helped carry them. Larry Gurra, an outstanding series. 1-0 with a .64 ERA. Dennis Leonard right there with them, 17 strikeouts at 129. And Paul Splittorff in his start, surprise start, he got the win. Ken Brett also with the win and ERA close to 5. Dan Quisenberry, 386. Not as dominant in some spots, but still got the job done. And Jim Wright closed out the series in Game 6, that 9th inning. So that's going to do it for you. If I'm going to choose an MVP, I'm going to actually go ahead and give it to Dennis Leonard, who struck out 17, won his ball game, had a 129 ERA, only walked 3, and pitched very well in his 2 starts. Took a loss as well, but even in the loss, he pitched pretty well. So Dennis Leonard, and maybe you can even argue for Larry Gurra. I'm going to go with the Royals pitching for the best performance of the series. In the end, not a surprise. The 1981 Royals, the favorites, and Jim Frye's team comes through despite some competitive play by the 1904 Tigers, who really needed Ty Cobb. You can see the fortunes that he changed for this team as the hitting just wasn't there for this club. So Series 131 is a wrap. Out of Park Baseball 20 is our game engine. Hope you enjoyed this series. Hope you're enjoying all of them. I appreciate all of our subscribers, everybody who enjoys following. This series is history. Again, the 1904 Detroit Tigers come up short against the 1981 Kansas City Royals, 4-2. We'll be right back with you shortly for another series. Hope you enjoyed this one. Talk to you soon. And send it back to KC with a chance to end it.